Every morning, she smiled like everything was fine. Every night, she cried where no one could hear. Her classmates saw the smile. They saw the coffee she carried, the uniform she pressed, the way she arrived just on time with her hair still damp. They thought she was the girl who was always running a little late. They had no idea what she had been doing before she walked through that door. Her name was Sofia de la Cruz. That is not her real name, but her story is real, and it belongs to thousands of young women across the Philippines right now, sitting in classrooms, wearing the same practiced smile, carrying the same invisible weight. Sofia grew up in Tondo, Manila, in a narrow house wedged between two other narrow houses, on a street so tight the neighbors could hear each other argue through the walls. Her mother, Nanay Cora, took in laundry. Her father had left when Sofia was 11. He sent money twice the first year, and then nothing. By the time Sofia was in high school, her mother had stopped expecting it, and Sofia had stopped asking. Sofia was the kind of student the teachers remembered. Her instructors in Tondo called her name first for every district competition, every academic contest, every scholarship shortlist. She prepared for everything with the same quiet intensity, the same dog-eared notebooks, the same habit of staying until the janitor asked her to leave. In her final year of high school, her guidance counselor pulled her aside and said, "Sofia, you have a mind that should not go to waste. Have you thought about nursing? The country needs people like you." Sofia went home that afternoon and told her mother. Nanay Cora stirred her pot of sinigang and did not say anything for a long time. Then she said, "I know, anak, I know." The acceptance letter from a private nursing school in Manila arrived on a Tuesday. It was a thick envelope, which everyone said was a good sign. Sofia's mother held it unopened for a full minute before her hands moved. Inside was the confirmation of admission, and attached behind it the tuition schedule. 48,000 pesos per semester, plus dormitory fees, plus miscellaneous fees, plus books, which were not miscellaneous at all, but a separate emergency of their own. Nanay Cora set the paper down on the table beside the pot of sinigang and said nothing. The silence in that kitchen lasted longer than any silence Sofia could remember. The minimum wage in Metro Manila was 530 pesos a day. Nanay Cora did not earn the minimum wage. She earned whatever the neighbors felt like paying, which some weeks was enough and most weeks was close. The gap between what Sofia needed and what her mother could provide was not a gap, it was a ravine. And Sofia stood at the edge of it at 18 years old and made a decision that would cost her things she did not yet know she had. She enrolled. She told her mother not to worry. She went to Manila with 9,000 pesos and a plan she was still writing. The plan lasted 6 weeks. The scholarship application was rejected because her income documentation was incomplete. The part-time job at a convenience store near campus ended when her lab schedule made her miss too many shifts. A cousin who had promised to help with one semester stopped answering calls. By week 6, Sofia had 4,000 pesos left and a tuition deadline in 21 days. She applied for 7 more scholarships and received 2 rejections and 5 silences. She sold pre-loved clothes online. She tutored a high school student for 4 sessions before his parents canceled. She computed the numbers every night in her planner. They never came out right. She stopped eating lunch to save 40 pesos and told her mother everything was fine. It was her dorm mate Precious who first mentioned it. Not directly. Precious mentioned it the way people mention things they want you to hear without saying them out loud. She said, "Some of the girls in 3rd year, they have arrangements." Sofia asked what kind. Precious looked at her phone and said, "Sponsors, men who help." Sofia said nothing. Precious said, "I'm not saying it's for everyone. I'm just saying some girls do it and they're fine. They graduate and they're fine." Sofia went to sleep that night and stared at the ceiling for 3 hours. 2 nights later, with her planner open and the numbers still wrong and 21 days down to 19, Sophia opened a Facebook group that Precious had shown her, but not shown her, the way you show someone something by leaving it visible on your screen. The group had over 20,000 members. The posts were written in careful language that meant one thing on the surface and something else underneath. Looking for a generous mentor, tuition due Friday, willing to meet for coffee and conversation. Sophia scrolled for 40 minutes. She closed the app. She opened it again. She put her phone face down on the mattress. She picked it up. She posted. She called her mother at midnight. Nanai Cora answered on the second ring, which meant she had not been asleep either. Sophia said, "Nanai, how are you?" Her mother said, "I'm okay, Anak. How are you?" Sophia said, "I'm okay, Nanai. Everything is fine." Her mother said, "Your voice sounds tired." Sophia said, "I'm just studying." Her mother said, "Eat properly, huh? Don't skip meals." Sophia said, "I won't." They talked for 4 more minutes about the weather in Tondo and the neighbor's dog and the price of tomatoes. Then they said goodbye and hung up, and Sophia sat in the dark and thought about the 19 days and the 4,000 pesos and the group with 20,000 members, and she opened the app again.
His name was Bernard Tan, 44 years old. His profile picture showed him at a company dinner in a barong and a watch that caught the light. Married, 2 children. His first message arrived 12 minutes after she posted. Polite. Said he was a businessman in Makati who believed in supporting serious students. Said he had helped 3 girls pay for school in the past 2 years. Said he was not looking for anything complicated. Sophia read the message 4 times. She replied. They met at a restaurant in Rockwell that Sophia had never been to and could not have found on her own. She wore a dress borrowed from Precious without explaining why. Bernard was already seated when she arrived. He stood when he saw her, pulled out her chair, ordered for both of them in a smooth, practiced way that told her he had done this before. He asked about her studies. He asked about her family. He told her about his import business. He asked if she had ever been to Singapore. She had never been outside of Luzon. After dinner, he slid a small envelope across the table. Inside was 30,000 pesos. He said, "For your tuition." He said, "We can discuss the rest of the arrangement another time." Sophia picked up the envelope. Her hands were steady. She had spent 3 days making them steady. She paid the tuition the next morning. The registrar gave her a receipt on pale yellow paper with the school logo at the top. She folded it and put it in her planner. That night, she went out to meet Bernard again, and the night after that. She built a system the way she had always built systems, methodical, compartmentalized, practical. She told herself it was temporary. She told herself the receipt on the pale yellow paper was proof it was working. She smiled her practiced smile every morning and kept the 2 halves of her life sealed from each other. She told herself the seal would hold. It did not hold. The first crack came on a Thursday afternoon when Sir Edmund, the strictest instructor in the nursing department and the one who had written her a recommendation letter, stopped her after class and said, "Sophia, your work is not the same as it was." She said, "I've just been tired, sir." He said, "Is everything okay at home?" She said, "Everything is fine, sir." He looked at her the way people look when they know you were lying but have decided not to press it. Then he said, "Okay." She left. She walked to the jeepney stop and stood in the afternoon heat and felt the 2 halves of her life pressing against the seal from both sides.
The classmate who noticed was not a professor. It was Ramon, 20 years old from Batangas, the type of person who always stayed last in the study room and shared his notes without being asked. He noticed the new bag. He noticed the skipped canteen meals. He noticed the way she sometimes went quiet in the middle of a conversation, not distracted, but somewhere else entirely, somewhere that did not seem like a good place. One afternoon after anatomy practical, he fell into step beside her and said, "Hey, you okay?" She said, "Yes, why?" He said, "You just seem like you have a lot going on." She said, "I'm fine, Ramon, thank you." She said it gently, but in a way that meant, "This conversation is over." He nodded. He did not stop noticing. It collapsed on a Wednesday morning. Sophia woke to 42 missed calls and a message from an unknown number. Her eyes were still adjusting to the light when she read it. I know who you are. I know what you do. I am Bernard's wife. If you contact my husband again, I will destroy you. Her hands started shaking before she finished the first sentence. Attached were screenshots, conversations, photographs she did not know existed. Her full name, her school, her dormitory address. The room tilted. She grabbed the edge of the bed. She read it again. Her vision blurred at the edges the way it does when your body understands something before your mind does. Within 6 hours, the screenshots were in 2 professors' email inboxes. They were posted in a campus Facebook group under an anonymous account. They were forwarded to her dormitory house mother, who called her into the small office beside the lobby and closed the door. Sophia sat across the desk and did not explain anything. Not the tuition, not Nani Cora and the laundry, not the 19 days and the 4,000 pesos. She sat with her hands in her lap and her jaw locked so tight it ached, and she nodded when the house mother finished speaking, and she stood up and she left. In the stairwell, alone, she pressed her back against the wall and slid down until she was sitting on the floor and put her face in her hands. Her whole body was shaking. She could not make it stop.
She stopped going to class. She stopped answering messages. She stopped eating. Not to save 40 pesos this time, but because food required a belief in the next hour that she could not find. She stayed in her room for 3 days. She thought about going home, about what her mother's face would look like, about the guidance counselor who had told her the country needed minds like hers, about the pale yellow receipt still folded in her planner. On the 3rd day, someone knocked on her door. She did not answer. The person knocked again and said, Sophia, it's me. It was Ramon. She opened the door because she did not have the energy to keep it closed. He had brought food, rice and adobo from the canteen in a plastic bag, still warm. He held it out and said, eat something. She looked at him. He said, I'm not going to ask you anything, just eat. He sat on the floor in the corridor outside her room and did not come in. They stayed like that for almost an hour, her inside eating, him outside, saying nothing, just present, just there. When she was done, she sat at the edge of the doorway and said, You know, don't you? He said, I know you needed help, and the system gave you nothing, and you found a way, and it cost you everything, and none of that fits into a simple sentence. He helped her in ways that did not look like saving. He told her about a government scholarship she had not applied for because she had not known it existed. He asked the department advisor about an emergency financial assistance grant the university offered to enrolled students in crisis. He sat beside her in the computer lab while she wrote the email to the registrar requesting a payment plan, not reading over her shoulder, just there. The scholarship came through 8 weeks later, 25,000 pesos per semester. The emergency grant followed. Sophia found a part-time job at a medical supply store near campus. It was a patchwork. A patchwork, when you are cold, is still warmth. She cut off everything, deleted the group, deleted the app, deleted the conversation threads, and the contact saved under a false name. She did it one afternoon during her break at the medical supply store, sitting on a plastic chair beside the inventory shelves, pressing delete with the same methodical focus she had once used on her scholarship essays. When she was done, she put her phone in her pocket and went back to counting IV lines. Recovery is not a montage. It is counting IV lines. It is eating the adobo someone left outside your door and finding, in the eating of it, something small and solid to hold on to.
She graduated in March, 1 semester later than her original plan. The ceremony was held in the university's covered court in the late afternoon heat that presses against the back of your neck and will not let go. When they called her name, she stood, walked across the stage, received the diploma, and walked back to her row. She sat down and held it in both hands and looked at it. Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Her name in a font she did not recognize, the school seal. She held it the way you hold something you have paid a price for that does not appear on any receipt. Nanay Cora was in the audience. She had taken the first bus from Tondo and arrived 2 hours early, and sat in the second row in a dress bought at a tiange for 250 pesos. When the ceremony ended and Sophia found her in the crowd, Nanay Cora grabbed her face in both hands and looked at her for a long moment without saying anything. Then she said, "Anak." That was all. Just Anak. Sophia pressed her face into her mother's shoulder and smelled laundry soap and cooking oil and home. And she thought about all the things her mother did not know and all the things she would never tell her. And she held on. Ramon was standing 20 feet away. When Sophia looked up and saw him, he gave her a single nod. She nodded back. Some people graduate with honors. Others graduate with scars no one will ever see. Sophia de la Cruz graduated with both.